Hello, my name is Ra Mohammed. I study chemistry in Greenwich University. Thank you very much for that presentation. You mentioned the role of the Kurds as being soldiers for other nations, as we have clearly known and history tells us. And that's a very clear picture of the Kurds. And you also mentioned political Islam. Now, for the Kurds to talk about such things as political Islam, because it's wholly triggered by the West and the international policies towards the Middle East, don't you think, what role of the political parties, what have you done to portray a Kurdish identity? You know, what we are for, not what we are against. As the great Kurdish poet says, Shiwani min Shiwani insani. You know, my struggle is a humane struggle. What have you done to achieve that? You know, to not give justification to the enemies that the Kurds are tilting towards a certain Western policies.
You made your point.
Okay,
thank you.
What we are looking for, I mean, just by saying the Kurdish people that should be the soldiers of themselves, the Kurdish people, I mean, just to defend their rights. Because, I mean, the Kurdish people should live like the others. I mean, their identity and their language, their culture, their everything, if they have to fight, they have to fight for their rights, not for the other rights. And if we cooperate with somebody, we should say, I am Kurdish, if you accept me, my being and my nationality, my culture, so we can go together. That's all. And what we are looking for, I mean, just to have the Kurdish people having their democratic rights. That's we are fighting, and the people, they decide. I mean, our identity, we are Kurdish people, we would like to have our rights on our land and have our culture and our, I mean, everything related to the Kurdish as nation. So that's what we are looking for. And we were just far away from those rights till now, just because we were fighting for the others, not for ourselves. And what we have done now, we are fighting for ourselves to get our democratic rights. And we have done it. We have done it. I mean, we are brothers with the Arabs. We have many Arabic parties struggling together against the regime, and we are together. They are accepting their Kurdish identity, they are accepting the Kurdish culture, their language and their beings and everything related to the Kurds, and their political rights and their social rights. They are accepting it. That's what we are looking for. So this means, I mean, for the political Islam, I mean, the Kurdish society is free, I mean, to choose anything they like. But they should be free to make a choose. They have, I mean, because as you know, I mean, most of the Kurds are Muslims. Okay, they can keep Muslims, they can pray, they can do what they like, but they should decide freely. They should be free before everything. They shouldn't be under the torture of the Muslims. They shouldn't, by the name of the Islam, which Islam it doesn't accept that. So what we are looking, I mean, the Kurdish people should be free, and they can decide if they are Muslims. So okay, no problem, they can be Muslims, they can be Christians, they can be Yazidis, they can do like what they choose. But they should be free to choose. That's what we are looking for.
And what are those institutions?
Thank you.
On the 9th of July, really, we have put, I mean the people, I mean the Kurdish people have put their hands on 3 areas, which was Kobani in 19th, and then Afrin was in the 20th, and Derik was the 22nd of July. And now those areas are extended to Darbasiya, to Amuda, and to Tel Tamar, and the other places. And there were some remains of the intelligence on Syria that just were spread out. There is nothing now except the Kamishli, because it has a different situation. We are very sensitive about that in Kamishlo. We don't like to have, I mean, the Kurdish and Arab war, I mean internal war. We are very sensitive because there are some Arabs still supporting the regime. If we go ahead with our struggle with the regime, so we don't know, maybe it will turn to the Arabic-Kurdish war, which we don't like it. And because of that, and we were very sensitive in Ras Al Ain also, because we have Arabs and Kurds living together in the city. And what happened now? The Free Syrian Army, supported by Turkey, came to the Arab areas. Still, they didn't pass to the Kurdish areas. And it's very sensitive situation, because at this time you don't know what to do. To fight those Free Syrian Army, they say you are beside the regime. If you if you keep them, they are going. There is no regime in Ras Al Ain, in Serikane, to come to fight them. So it's very bad situation, I think, because if they want really to fight the regime, they should go to Damascus and other places. But the Kurdish areas are still under the Kurdish control till now, and it's well governed and well managed also till now, because still we have a lot of people, coming from other areas to the Kurdish areas, because they look at safe haven for them.
Rashid Ibrahim, Kurdish National Council in UK. I've heard him he said that they're calling for self-determination for the Kurds. Is this something new, that like you join in the Kurdish National Council and you're calling for self-determination for the Kurds within the United Nations resolution? Second part, what's make the Kurdish soldiers that they were in the Syrian army, they were trained and they're ready to enter from Kurdistan. What the delay make them to come and help the other Kurdish militants to defend our area, because it's really too large, and we've seen it.
Thank you for your question.
Those people really was defected. They were Kurd youngers and youth. They were in Syrian army. They defected from it. Part of them, they joined this people's protecting units in Syria. They have educated, and they are they're well trained, and they are just now defending their people. And some of them, they went to South Kurdistan and trained by Mr. Masoud Barzani and his party, and they are over there still. And just as a Supreme Committee, we decided to make a committee to join all these armed forces for the Kurdish, protecting Kurdish people. Even those people in South Kurdistan, and the other people, militias inside Western Kurdistan, to become one army, to one organization for defending the Kurdish people. Because in one country you can have many political parties, it's okay, but if you have many armies, organized armed organizations, so we'll fight each other and then blood, so it's very difficult. And because of that, I think we should have one organization protecting the Kurdish people in Western Kurdistan. And because of that, we decided as Supreme Committee to join all these armed forces in South Kurdistan and Western Kurdistan to make them one organization. And in future, near future, maybe we'll find one organization defending. Most of them, they were people defected from the Syrian army. And thank you very much again for everybody.
Thank you.